Today, let's dive into a film that has pretty much the entire world talking. Christopher Nolan's absolutely massive, epic new take on Homer's The Odyssey. So think about it. You're Christopher Nolan. You've just come off the massive success of Oppenheimer. I mean, Oscars, box office, the whole shebang. The entire film world is asking one question. How do you even begin to follow that up? Well, the answer apparently was to go way bigger and way, way older. Yep, he decided to tackle the foundational story of all Western literature, Homer's ancient Greek epic, The Odyssey. You know the one, a story of gods, monsters, and a man's brutal 10-year struggle just to get back home. So how does a project this colossal even happen? Honestly, the story of how it all came together is almost as epic as the film itself. I mean, just look at this timeline. It's kind of nuts. Nolan basically walks off the stage with his Oscar in March 2024 and immediately starts writing. By October, he's got a deal with Universal, and by December, the whole world knows about it. This wasn't some project that was sitting around for years. It was an idea that just caught fire and moved at lightning speed. And what's really fascinating is hearing Nolan talk about why he did it. For him, The Odyssey isn't just some old story. He sees it as the blueprint, the very foundation for so much of cinema. He feels like it's a theme he's been circling his entire career, and now he's finally tackling it head-on. Of course, an epic story on this scale needs a legendary cast. And boy, did Nolan assemble a crew for the ages, bringing in some familiar faces and some incredible new ones. Just take a look at this lineup. Seriously? You've got Matt Damon as the man himself, the cunning Odysseus. Anne Hathaway plays his loyal wife, Penelope. Then you've got Tom Holland as their son, Zendaya as the goddess Athena, and Charlize Theron as the terrifyingly powerful sorceress Circe. I mean, come on. That is an absolutely killer cast. And the dedication here was just off the charts, especially for Matt Damon. He completely transformed himself, dropping a ton of weight to become this lean, weathered hero. And get this, Nolan insisted he grow a real beard for over a year because he wanted, in his words, the physicality of real hair. No fake stuff allowed. But a story this big needed a production that was just as big. The actual filming process became its own Odyssey, a massive globe-trotting journey that perfectly mirrored the story they were trying to tell. Let's start with the budget. A cool $250 million. Just let that sink in. That officially makes this the most expensive film Christopher Nolan has ever directed. That number alone tells you everything you need to know about the scale they were going for. And they put every penny of that budget to work all over the planet. The 91-day shoot was a true marathon. They were chasing these incredible, ancient-looking landscapes from the deserts of Morocco to the coasts of Greece and Italy, and even the surreal black sand beaches of Iceland. They were literally on a worldwide quest. And of course, being a Nolan film, this commitment to authenticity meant one thing: film. A lot of it. The production shot an incredible 2 million feet of IMAX 70mm film. To put that in perspective, that's over 600 kilometers of physical film stock. In our digital world, that is just an absolutely mind-boggling amount. But that brings up the biggest question of all, right? Christopher Nolan is Mr. Practical Effects, Mr. Realism. So how on earth do you shoot a story full of one-eyed giants, enchanting sirens, and angry gods with that signature style? That was the big creative puzzle. And his solution is this concept he calls tactile realism. Here's the idea. Instead of big, showy CGI magic, the meddling of the gods is shown through real-world events. Think violent, unnatural storms or bizarre ocean currents. Things that ancient sailors would have genuinely seen and interpreted as the wrath of the gods. It's such a smart way to ground the myth in a world that feels real and physical. And to capture that gritty reality, they actually used groundbreaking new tech. This was the first film ever to be shot entirely on these newly developed IMAX cameras. They're lighter and way quieter, which let Nolan get more intimate, dynamic shots that were basically impossible with the old, clunky IMAX rigs. Now, as you'd expect with any movie this massive, it generated an incredible amount of hype, but it also wasn't immune to some very real-world controversy. The main issue arose from the decision to film in Dakhla, a city located in the disputed territory of Western Sahara. This drew a lot of criticism from activist groups, who accused the production of helping to whitewash colonialism by filming in a Moroccan-occupied region. On the other side, the Moroccan Cinematographic Center defended the production, highlighting how important it was for the local film industry and economy. On the marketing side of things, though, Universal played an absolute masterstroke. The campaign was a slow burn. First, just a single image of Matt Damon. Then, they released a teaser trailer that you could only see in theaters. After that, an exclusive 6-minute prologue attached to IMAX screenings. By the time they finally dropped the full trailer online, the anticipation was at a fever pitch. And the numbers proved it. That trailer just exploded. It pulled in over 121 million views in a single day. That's more than a massive blockbuster like Wicked. And maybe most impressive, it's more than double the views Oppenheimer's first trailer got. The hype was completely, undeniably off the charts. So when you put it all together, the cast, the incredible scale, the masterful hype, this film has been perfectly positioned as one of the biggest cinematic events in a very, very long time. It was no surprise when IMDb quickly named it the most anticipated film of 2026. And this is just wild. Tickets for certain IMAX 70mm screenings went on sale a full year early and sold out almost instantly. So go ahead and mark your calendars, July 17th, 2026. So after a production journey that was its own kind of epic, we're left with one final question. Christopher Nolan took on the oldest myth in the book to try and create something entirely new. The real question for all of us is, will his version of the Odyssey become a legend in its own right?